Tiny House Magazine is definitely a passion project for me. I've been with Kent since issue 14, and we're on issue 80 now.
Wow.
Um, it's my way of experiencing everyone else's life and adventure. Like, I get a firsthand glimpse into all these cool people and cool lifestyles. And it's kind of selfish, but I get to read it before anyone else.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm constantly discovering something super cool.
Yeah.
And occasionally you'll get someone who, is kind of flaky and you're like, ugh. But 99% of the time, it's people who are just like embracing life. And you just stop and that is a passion project for me. And another passion project that the tiny house enabled me to do, and it's always a struggle of mine. I'm a workaholic. I mean, absolute workaholic. I can not drink. I don't need to eat necessarily. I don't get caught up in other things. I don't watch TV, any of that. But I'm a workaholic. If I can work 24 hours a day, by God, I will work 24 hours a day. Yep. Why? I don't know. But in living in our tiny house, I learned that life is about more than that. I was in an intimate setting with my wife and with my brand new daughter, and so I realized that I wasn't developing relationships with them because I was working all the time. I had this great opportunity to constantly be in community with them, and I was missing out on that. So I've always struggled with that. But tiny house living allowed me to realize that, number one, it allowed me to realize that one of my love languages is touch. Like, I love to get in the kitchen when Crystal's in there and just brush up against her or stand behind her or something. It's probably hugely annoying to her, but it makes me feel so good as a person. I don't care, till the age when it's inappropriate. If my daughter wants to hang on me, sit on me, be on my head, I'm going to let her, because I enjoy that. That is a passion in my life, is to raise the best little human we can raise. And so that's what tiny house living really has done for me, is it's made me realize more about, it's made me really have to deal with myself and go, okay, here's the shortcomings that are so unattractive about you. And then it's also made me realize, here are the things that you want to have more of in your life. And this is enabling you to do it. So embrace it. Go for it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go write a book now.
Get on that, will you? No, one of the things that Xavier and I miss about our tiny house was that we had this little hallway kind of space, and it was maybe 24 inches wide in between all of the different built-in stuff, right? And our bed was on the main floor, so there was no loft. So it was very small, and there was a lot of brushing up against each other.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. People sometimes ask, how can you live with your spouse in a space that small? And, from the benefit of hindsight, we miss it because we loved being that close, that connected, and the sense of intimacy that's forced on you in the space is so cool.
Yeah.
I don't think we realized it so much at the time, but now that we don't live there anymore, we do miss it. And that's the true test.
Well, it bothers me to see American families that have such a large environment that they all get home from whatever they do during the day, and they go into their section of the house and they close themselves off, and that's that. Because they're missing out on so much. They're missing out on those little things. And if whoever's listening to this, if you are a spouse or you are a significant other or something like that, you are not embracing that relationship till you learn the art of brushing up against each other. There's something so connected. It doesn't mean that you have to break down and bump uglies on the floor every time. Not at all. But it just, Crystal and I have been reading these studies lately, which are really interesting, that human beings need 13 hugs a day. That's what they say we require is 13 hugs a day. 8 hugs makes us happy. 13 makes us productive.
Oh, interesting.
So what's interesting about that is when you live in a small space, that brush is like a hug and you feel connected whether you are embracing or not. And it's the same with kids. If you're raising a kid in a small space, kids don't need Nintendo Switches. They don't need iPods. They need you. They need you to hug them, hold them, remind them how important they are, validate them, support them, get rid of all the stuff that doesn't matter and give them what does matter. And a lot of times in a small space, that is what it's about. It's about that connection. And the same goes for dads. Dads and husbands, we think that we are the glue that holds it all together, and we're supposed to wake up and go to work and make the bacon and come home and prop up in our recliner and blah, blah, blah. We need it all too. We need to be told that we're important and that people love us and that our wife likes the way that we, something silly like, I love when you build me something. I suck at building. I've built some tiny houses and they're pretty good, but it's also because I more contract them than I actually build them. Make something really silly for Crystal, and she makes it out to be the best thing in the world. And that's important to me because it makes me feel like I am human, it gets in touch with emotions, and that's important too.
We're always talking about intentional living, purpose, and contentment. It's so much fun. I put together these conversations in an online virtual summit. You can see the rest of this conversation and a whole bunch more at simplifymy.life. By the way, it's all free. That's really cool, right? Click the Learn More button when you get there, and that will show you the dates. Mark your calendar, register to save your seat, and I will see you at the summit. Don't miss a thing. This information is so exciting, and I'm so passionate about this topic because what it does is it takes us out of overwhelm into clarity and contentment and confidence, and that's really exciting for me, and that's what I want for you. So thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. Go check out simplifymy.life now and register. See you at the summit. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.